Hey guys, Calvo here with Calvo Real Estate, touching base for another video. Since it's July, beginning of summer, a lot of people are now going shopping, they're moving, kids aren't in school anymore. So wanted to let you guys know about a topic that I think might be useful if you are going out and looking for homes. Again, first I wanted to also make sure that you know that you can call me. I can show you any home in Southern California, or my wife Lauren as well, any house that you need. Give us a call, and I'll of course make sure that you don't fall into any of these pitfalls. Okay, so one of the things that we want to make sure that we talk about is the very first step of buying a house, which is making sure you know what you qualify for, making sure that you actually know what you can afford within that range, and then if it's even something that you want to buy or in the area, things like that. So you want to make sure that you're not going out looking for houses, doing open houses and getting all excited, and then all of a sudden you can't even afford to buy a house. So that's like number one. Number two, I think, is going to be that you don't ahead of time negotiate or find your lender. Okay, you want to make sure that you find a good lender ahead of time, know exactly what you can afford, know exactly what that payment's going to be, so that way you don't buy above your means. A lot of people do buy, let's say the lender says, oh, we can get you $1 million house. Okay, perfect, let's go shop for $1 million house, and you don't even know what that payment is, and then you find out what the payment is, and then you back out because you're like, ooh, that's a little too much. So make sure that you're not buying, of course, at the top of your means. You buy what payment you feel comfortable with, and then I would say you can scale that back a little bit as well, okay? Just because I think, in the United States, we have a tendency as a culture to kind of live above our means or at our means, and I just like to always remind people, since I do come from a financial background or financial planning background, to make sure that you're looking at the full picture, okay? So number three is, I think, that once you, let's say, find a house that you like, you have the agent contact the other agent to figure out what type of offer to submit. The agent that you're working with may not be that versed in the negotiation tactics, or really to dive in and dig into exactly what is making these buyers want to sell, what would make them accept the offer. Besides just throwing cash at them, what other small terms can you actually do in order to make sure that the sellers look at your offer as the best offer, okay? So that's huge thing that you want to make sure that your agent is very good at, okay? Of course, Lauren and I, we've been doing this for years, and we'll be able to help you with that, and I love doing that. It's my favorite part of the real estate transaction, is just really figuring out the negotiations and how to position that offer so that way we are on top versus everybody else, okay? So I think number three, let's say now I think that was number four, right? Okay, so now we're on number four. Yeah, so number four is we are in the actual, let's say you got your offer accepted, now you're in the transaction. So one of the other things is that foregoing a home inspection. For some reason, a lot of people think that, let's say like a condo, for example, you don't need a home inspection. You definitely should. Always get a home inspection, because you never know what's behind the walls. You have an inspector that can kind of look at signs that maybe an untrained eye sees it's fine, but then they see some things there and you're like, hey, it looks like this was repaired incorrectly. And then not only can you save yourself a lot of headache in the future, but also if it's not a big deal, you can still use that as leverage to get more money off the property later on. All right, I think number five, right, is going to be, after you get the home inspection, not getting the termite report or a termite inspection as well. That's another huge thing, especially here in Southern California, beach cities, huge issue with termites. So it may not be a big deal really, but it might be old termites or anything like that. But you still want to know, a little bit about that, and make sure you get those repaired, because a termite issue can become a very big issue if you don't know about it, okay? And again, also more leverage in order to get more money off later on or during the transaction. I think number six, so we're on number six here. One of the other things is switching lenders in the middle of the transaction. That's a huge no-no. You definitely do not want to do that, all right? I have had clients do that. Luckily it has worked out, but it creates a huge headache, and it really is a very dangerous thing, because you can lose the transaction up front. In the middle of it, because it takes so long for lenders to get you approved and so on. So do your shopping for a lender ahead of time, okay? And that actually brings me up to number seven, which is another one of the topics, which is you don't shop for a lender, okay? So I would say these are kind of one and the same. Don't shop for a lender during the transaction, but shop for a lender ahead of time, okay? Look at 3 different lenders, find out which ones you trust the most, make sure that they're, a reputable lender, and even ask your agent too, maybe if they have recommendations as well. So that way you can make sure that you're getting the best deal on the rates, but once you get into the transaction, stick with that same lender, okay? And now number 8, I think, so if I'm off count, I'm sorry guys. But anyway, so number 8 is gonna be really at the end of it all, making sure that, actually I lost number 8. What was it? Hold on, I got it right here. This one's huge. How did I? Okay, so this actually should be number 1. So number 8 is removing contingencies too early. Okay, so what that means is basically whenever you're in the real estate transaction, you have to put in this earnest money deposit. And this earnest money deposit is basically telling the seller, hey, I am serious about this, I'm willing to lose X amount of dollars, right? And usually it's 3%, so it's quite a bit of money. I mean, like if I back out of this deal incorrectly, then you get to keep this money, right? So like $15,000 maybe, that's a lot of money. You don't want to lose that, right? Well, agents sometimes, and I've had this where I've had somebody have $35,000 on the line and the agent removed the contingencies before they even had their loan approval. So luckily it all worked out. Nobody lost any money, but potentially you could, right? I've had also clients who were in the middle of their transaction, ready to go. We're almost at the 7th hour, at the very last minute, and for some reason they weren't able to get approved for the loan. Since I've held back my contingencies, which means that I basically say that, hey, my clients can still back out if something goes wrong, right? And there's a certain amount of days, usually it's 17 days, that you're able to remove that contingency. So I don't want to get into too much detail, but bottom line is you want to make sure that you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted before you remove those contingencies, because you don't want to come to the very finish line and not be able to close, and then you lose a ton of money, okay? So all these little things are what real estate agents do on a day-to-day basis, but I want to make sure that you guys know as the buyer. So again, you can also contact me and make sure that I do this for you, or if your agent is not doing it for you, then again, contact me no matter what. All right, so we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic summer. Bye-bye, guys.